Alright, this is a 2021 Honda Accord. We're going to be picking and reading the door lock with the HON66 lishi. This lishi has two picking levers, with the top one having A wafers going up, B wafers going down, and the bottom one being the inverse, B wafers up, A wafers down. Start by inserting the lishi into the lock much like a key. Wiggle it around, make sure it goes as deep as it can. Apply tension in the direction you wish to pick, and then on all Hondas and Acuras we will have wafers in positions. A wafers will be 2, 3, and 4. B wafers will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Since this is a split wafer lock, we have to start with one set of wafers first. In the case of Hondas and Acuras, it's always the A wafers. So we're going to go down, get a 2, a 3, and a 4, and then that little bit of a movement right there means that the A wafers are set. We're going to go ahead and redo that so you can see it again. A 2, a 3, a 4, and that little bit of a click right there. So now we're good to set the B wafers. B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, back to B1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then now the B wafers are set. So at this point we can actually let go of the lock, and it will not go back to the locked state, because the wafers from the A side are now sitting in the channels for the B wafers on the right side. So at this point I'm going to adjust my camera angle so that we have a better view over top of the lishi. And now with our lishi in this locked position that it's in, we need to pick the A wafers to get them past the B wafer channels to turn the lock the rest of the way so that we can read it. So we're going to apply tension, go back through A, 2, 3, and 4, and then that little bit of a turn right there is all we're looking for. I'll reset it and do it again. 2, 3, and 4. On certain Hondas and Acuras, particularly older ones, the lock will be able to turn a full 90 degrees, and that puts a lot of spring tension on it, canting your lishi. So before I read it, I'll go down to B5 here, and I'll see if it sits on one of the lines. In this case, it sits pretty decently on 3, but in some scenarios it'll go between the 3 and the 5 because of the spring pushing up on the lishi. So I'll push down as far as I can, put my index finger on top of the lishi, and bring it down to straighten it out so that it sits well on the line, and then I can hold it right there, go through and read the rest of the lock. But in this case, that is not necessary. As we see, B5 sits pretty decently on the 3 there. I'm going to go through and read one set of wafers at a time. Starting with the B, you can start with whichever side you'd like. So B1, I'm going to say that's a 4. B2, I'm going to say that's a 5. B3 is a 3. B4 goes all the way down to 1, and then of course that's a 3. So 4, 5, 3, 1, 3. And now when writing this down, I put A on the top, B on the bottom, and there are 6 positions on Honda locks. So we just read the B side, and that was 4, 5, 3, 1, 3, nothing in the 6th position. And then with the A on the top, we already know we're not going to have anything on 1. We'll have 2, 3, and 4, nothing on 5, nothing on 6. So now we need to go back through and read the A wafers. So once again, apply tension, pick your A2, 3, 4. It's just 3 wafers, takes about a second. So go down to A2, we're going to say that's a 5. A3, that's a 3. and a 4, that is a 5. So 5, 3, 5. And then go ahead and write that in, 5, 3, 5. And now we should have the bitting for our door lock here. So we're going to go ahead and remove the lishi. In order to do that, we have to pick the A wafers again in the opposite direction. You don't have to put tension on it because the door lock spring is putting tension in the correct direction for you. So go down to A2, A3, A4, back to 2, 3, and there we go. And then removing the lishi from the lock. Sometimes the picking lever will get stuck on the shutter on the face of the lock. So to get around that, I'll make sure both of my levers are pulled as far out as they can go. Seems like they are. And then I'll just grab the levers. Oh, perhaps it isn't as far out as it can go. There it goes. They should be in line like that on the needles, and then pull directly out on the levers. And now with putting our bitting into InstaCode, I always go under the same car, Honda Civic, either 2015 or 2016, doesn't make much of a difference. Click on the first option, go to find bitting, and if we recall our bitting from our paper, we put A on the top, B on the bottom. I do that for simplicity's sake. This shows B on the top, A on the bottom. It's actually the inverse because this does not correspond to lishi. It corresponds with the diagram of a key they have over here on the left side of the screen. So we're going to ignore that and put our A on the top, B on the bottom. So starting in A2 on the top here, 5, 3, 5, and then going down to the bottom one, this is our B side, 4, 5, 3, 1, 3. Hit enter, and it should give you just one code. If you get one code from the bitting you read off the door, more often than not, it is correct, and it will also work the ignition. So now we're going to take this code L934, move over to the Ninja or Gymkhana, what have you, and proceed to cut our key. So on our Ninja here, we can go under Vehicles, go to Honda, and we'll just do the correct vehicle this time. Go under Accord, 13 to 21, the HO01 to N718 series. That shows as an emergency key because this is a push to start car. It's all the same blade for these top 3 options, so it doesn't matter which one you pick. Hit next. There it goes. So instead of punching in the code, I'm actually going to punch in our bitting directly. And then this is the same orientation as the key diagram that we saw in InstaCode, but if we remember, the lishi shows the A going where they have the B axis and the B where they have the A axis. So it's inverse from the InstaCode diagram. We're still putting our A's on the top. That was the 5, 3, 5, and we're still putting our B's on the bottom. 4, 5, 3, 1, 3. We'll hit find codes. And then it shows the same code, L934. Hit next. Make sure your bitting is still correct, 4, 5, 3, 1, 3. There's our 5, 3, 5, auto-populated the other numbers. Next. There it goes. And then cut it in your AC jaw on the left side with tip stop in the 3rd position if you're on a Ninja. We'll proceed to cut this and then we'll test our key in the door. And here we have the key cut to the L934. Go ahead and insert it into the lock and test it. Looks like it grew there. This is actually a push to start car, but if it were bladed ignition and the door lock and ignition were original to the car, then this key would work both locks. Hopefully this shows that Honda locks aren't any harder to pick and read than any other locks. They're just more involved.